Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
What's up, everybody? This is Smelly Russian Gaming with Eric and Isaac, and today one of our main topics is going to be Battlefield, the progression of what Battlefield 3 was for last gen I'm sorry, it hasn't been this next gen yet, but this gen console, and then kind of transferring into Battlefield 4 and what it looks like it's going to be, and some of the improvements and things like that. I want to start off with, I think, to really take a grasp of how far Battlefield came, you have to go back, really, and you have to go back to BC2, because BC2 was the first time we had seen the new DICE engine, Frostbite, which was a huge jump. Destructibility wasn't as amazing as what it might or could have been, but they were still progressing in it. They were still trying to master it, things like that. The game looked great, and I personally think BC2 is the best Battlefield game that has yet to come out. And then you had the Frostbite 2 engine, which is what was in BF3, which, I mean, it vamped it up. Everything looked a lot crisper, a lot cleaner in BF3. Even if it was on console, yeah, there was a big difference between PC and the console looks. But there was a lot of mixed reviews with BF3. I know that, Isaac, you are a very critical thinker of how BF3 was constructed and how it wasn't all that it could have lived up to be.
Yeah. Do you want me to expand upon that?
Yeah, expand on that just a little bit.
All right. I'll have to say mostly the criticalness of me and Battlefield 3 is the console limitations. I think everything that the PC did for Battlefield 3 was also something that the consoles really missed out on. We had the terrible console player limitations. 24 versus 64. That's a big kick in the balls, really. I can really look past the graphics at least, but frame rate wise, consoles pale against that too.
Yeah.
Both the consoles also had their issues, as we're probably going to go into with the PS3 input lag. That was never solved for the PS3. It was reduced. It was at least worked out a little bit, but it was still there, sadly. And you can really notice the difference if you play the 360 to PS3.
Oh, yeah, because there was a period where I switched from 360 to PS3 because I just couldn't afford to play. I couldn't afford to pay Xbox Live because, well, I'm a poor college kid. And then, I saw the back and forth comparison, and, I played very, very well on Xbox 360. And part of my problem was the controller with the PS3. Now, I'm not saying that the PS3 controller is bad by any means. There's plenty of people that love that controller. It's too fucking small. It is too small. For me personally, I have huge monkey hands.
Yeah, and I have little hands, and it's too fucking small for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
My pinkies just, they free ball.
Oh yeah. But I mean, the input lag was quite ridiculous. It took them 3 tries in a year span after it actually released to actually fix it.
And the shit you had to go through to even reduce it anymore, you had to run on 480 resolution, so it looked like fucking shit.
Yeah.
And that helped a little bit.
Yeah.
But still,
it still didn't fix the problem. So you're still having to deal with aiming out, a foot and a half, 2 feet in front of your target if he's like walking, to even, catch up with the whole lag situation. And it was just a bad situation. For PC,
really
it turned out phenomenal. It was never, there was never an issue.
It was made almost exclusively for the PC.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people forget, that's what BF3 originally was. That's what Battlefield originally was. It was for PC only. It wasn't.
PC only.
It wasn't for console. It wasn't ever supposed to be, quote unquote, for console. But they They
They had to make
eventually,
money.
yeah, and they wanted to make money on it. Of course, it's EA, and they obviously want to make money on stuff. But I mean, it was there was a lot of good things. There was a lot of bad things. I I loved it when it first came out on the 360. I played it for forever. I had a lot of fun playing it. And it,
I have a lot more fond memories of it post launch.
yeah.
Just when it got launched before the patches.
Oh yeah. Before there was only two things that they had to fix with that. Well, three things actually. They had to fix the frag rounds. They had to fix the and they had to fix what was the other one they had to fix? They had to fix the FAMAS because all three of those were so overkill. They really were. That was the only initial complaint that I had with BF3 when it first released because I camped out for 14 hours at GameStop just to wait for this game. That's how excited I was for it. That's how much in love with it I was when it first came out, and I did nothing but play it. And it was a lot of fun. I know that you're a big statistics type of guy, Isaac. So, kind of talk to me about the whole balancing of the weapons and how there was a big issue.
I think DICE got it at least. They had a decent balancing when it first came out. I don't know really where to go into it. It's like, but I think my biggest gripe, at least with balance, was how the high rate of fire weapons just beat out everything. Not in between, just like in close range, but at long range as well. Especially if you're a PC gamer, you have that awesome mouse, you could fucking compensate for recoil really well.
Oh yeah.
And it was actually even easier just when the game launched because hopefully I won't lose too many people about it, but like your maximum spread when you start shooting, and in terms of that, I mean, it's like when you start shooting, your accuracy starts to degrade. That spread that we all know of, that just like arbitrary number, it keeps on getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But when the game really launched, that number was extremely small. So you could be shooting on full auto, and you were really still accurate. And that changed after that. PC changed that immediately. So when we were playing consoles, we didn't notice that big drastic change after the huge patch. And then we were like, wow, our weapons are really fucking inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was trying to say is, like, even after that big patch with the spread increase and all that jazz, all that fun, happy shit that we want to talk about, those high rate of fire weapons were still beating out the low rate of fire weapons. I mean, they still had the base accuracy and all that jazz, but, 600 RPM versus 900 RPM, still easy recoil compensation and all that stuff. You can just beat them out with that, and I had a huge issue with that.
You had the AEK, you had the M16, you had the 416, you had grenade launcher, you had smoke, you had a secondary sidearm that was a shotgun. You could throw down med packs and revive. It was so. I don't want to call it overpowered, but it's.
I would. But
it's almost it's almost impossible not to call it overpowered, and. But there is, and we were talking about this the other day. There's another class that could have possibly been even more powerful than the assault class, and that's the support class, because you've got a selection of 2 grenades, 4 packs of C4,
mortar launcher, claymores.
2 things of claymores. You got the LMGs that are on the upper half. Of the damage rates. I mean,
yeah,
even though they're super inaccurate after that first patch, I mean they're up on the top half of the damage charts, and then they've got a resupply plaque where they can just resupply on everything, and that includes explosives and ammunition and everything. Now, if you get like some of the LMGs that take a magazine, like the RPK and some of the other ones like that,
Yeah, those are actually really good.
Those are really super accurate, and they shoot out a pretty far distance. And if you put a flash suppressor on the front and a foregrip on it, it shoots just like a regular assault rifle from the assault class.
RPK.
So, yeah, so you're
muzzle cap.
yeah, you're unstoppable with one of those things. And it kind of took me a while to figure that out because they were always changing the balance of the weapons and everything. And once I switched back to Xbox 360 at the first of the year, and started playing again, I was like, wow, this is the class to end all classes, because the only thing I ever played, and a lot of people will agree with me that they only played this too, they only played Metro, Grand Bazaar, and they played Close Quarters. And those are assault class and LMG class.
Yeah, that's really where the assault thrives on those maps.
Oh yeah, and that's going to kind of move me into the next subject, is their I want to call it a failure, because it wasn't a complete failure, but it pretty much was, as far as their map selection and how they built their maps, because they tried to add in all these different game modes like Capture the Flag and Team Deathmatch and Squad Deathmatch, and those, from what I saw and from what I had read and from all the people that I follow on YouTube, nobody plays those really. I saw once Capture the Flag first came out, everybody was playing that because they wanted to try it out, and then people got burnt out and they went back to Rush and Conquest, because that's the core of what Battlefield is. And then they were doing all these DLCs that made zero sense, like the all vehicle maps make zero sense to me. They really do. I mean, yeah, the vehicles are a cool addition to the game, but to have gameplay solely built around the vehicles, that's pushing it a little.
Oh yeah, for the console peasants, it was awful. But for PC gamers, at least they could have a little bit more fun with the player cap. But yeah, I agree. What was it? Fuck. I can't remember what. Armored Kill?
Yeah, Armored Kill.
Yeah, Armored Kill, that was awful on consoles. I hated it. They had cool maps, but they were way too big.
Oh yeah.
Not enough players.
Yeah. I thought when the Back to Karkin DLC first came out, I thought that DLC was awesome.
I still do.
And then I got burnt out on it. I really did. I got burnt out on Back to Karkin. And the only Grand Bazaar's part of the Back to Karkin map pack, isn't it?
No, that's vanilla BF3.
Is it? That's what I thought.
Yep.
I couldn't remember because it's been 2 years since it came out, and
And there's only like 30 maps.
Yeah, and out of those 30 maps, people only play
a handful.
A
small handful.
I think it's hilarious that Metro is the most played map out of all of them, and that's the beta map. Now, I don't know if it was because of ease of play, because everybody that played the beta knew how to work that map, or if it's high intensity, or it's really close, or whatever. But I mean,
the high intensity choke points.
Yeah,
because you can always have a position where your back's going to be covered and you can't get flanked.
Yeah,
that's mainly
which is very rare in a Battlefield map. It's very hard to find.
It really is. It's all about the flanking.
Yeah, and but I mean, Grand Bazaar and Metro, and then you throw in Close Quarters. Close Quarters was fun. That is
it
probably
really was like a good COD take.
Oh yeah,
and it was much more enjoyable.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't ridiculous. It wasn't noobish. And what I mean by noobish is it's
other than the C4 bombing.
Oh yeah, other than
that was fucking shitty.
Oh, even I started doing that because it just made me so mad that I just started doing it. I'm like, you know what? If you're gonna do that to me, I'm gonna do it to you.
Fight fire with fire.
Oh yeah, but I mean, overall, I think Battlefield 3 was a great step. They took a huge step as far as the destructibility. It's not as amazing as what we thought it was going to be, like they said it was going to be at E3 and all that a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I think that was a great game. It was well worth the buy. There places like IGN and Machinima and a few other guys on YouTube ranked it, a 9 or a high 8, which is very good considering the first-person shooter market, because if you look at other first-person shooters besides Halo, none of them are scoring that high on the graded levels as far as comparison to each other. They're not scoring very high with fan bases and with people that look at these games and say, okay, this is a good game, this is a bad game, and that's something to be said. But let's kind of transition into what to look forward to with Battlefield 4. What are you really looking forward to, Isaac?
Well, I'd have to say like my main topic and my interest with Battlefield 4 is the rebalancing. You know, as we talked about with BF3, class balance was shit.
Yeah.
Just like straight up.
Oh yeah.
And then after I've been hearing about Battlefield 4 and how classes aren't really changing, but just being buffed a little bit, and especially going through Synthic. So if you guys know that site, you should go to it, and if you don't, you should go to it anyways, because it's I don't know, it's like the Bible for Battlefield in a sense.
Yeah.
If you like stats and just getting to understand the game mechanics a little bit more. And right now there's like Battlefield 4 alpha stats, and I post it on the Facebook with my friends. And if you guys want to hear about it, I'll tell you about it. So far, it's really cool stuff. And I guess I'll start with some of the cool things about the Battlefield 4 alpha stats and the classes is that at least most of you guys know what's different for the classes in Battlefield 4. I mean, the biggest thing that we really know is that Recon's getting C4 back, which is awesome. Battlefield 3, if you're C4, you really didn't have anything you could do in your power to go against a vehicle. You couldn't really run away. Really running away was your only option, but you really couldn't engage it until a year later with the crossbow, and even then it wouldn't do any damage. Now that we have C4, Recon can go against tanks and shit, which is cool. And they have the motion balls back too, which is fantastic. I did not know that was coming back.
I love the motion balls. I'm not too.
BC2, that was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I loved it because if I wanted to cover a certain area, I'd have to walk out of the building wherever I was sitting, set the portable uterus, and then go back into the building. Now I can just throw my Pokeball wherever I want to, and it's going to give me exactly what I want. I don't have to walk out and risk a chance of somebody seeing me and then going back in and getting shot. Now you can just throw your ball out the window or whatever or wherever you want and not risk blowing your cover, which I think is awesome.
And from what I've been hearing, Softlam, or Soflam, however you want to pronounce it, it's actually going to be like binoculars.
Ooh.
And then the underdog, it seems, support, he's getting a huge buff. He's going to be a badass now. And I really hope people don't fucking start bitch about him because DICE will nerf him. And I really hope they don't do that because support really needed the buff. We've seen it change to where I'm not sure if he's going to have claymores anymore. I know he doesn't have C4.
I hope he doesn't. I hate claymores. I hate them.
He has semi-auto grenade launchers, if you guys didn't know that.
Yeah, they brought that in from
People are really scared
Honor.
about it. But through the alpha stats I've seen, that grenade launcher is going to be more of an annoyance more than anything. The splash damage is really little. So that's going to be nice. We don't really have to worry about him being too much of a bitch. He's going to have like the ammo pack, so he can spam it a little bit, but he's going to have to hit you a lot of times. But his LMGs, that's the big change. They're better, a lot better. Just through the stats I've seen, he's still going to be inaccurate. I think I'll forego the numbers a little bit, but I can tell you that if you know the carbine accuracy, if you can remember how they acted in Battlefield 3, his accuracy is still on par with that. It was actually much worse in Battlefield 3, their LMG accuracy. The recoil has decreased a lot. If you want to think a little bit, the Type 88, remember how that was such a piece of shit?
I don't even know why they gave that to us as DLC at GameStop, because that thing was a piece.
It's a piece of shit. Now it's awesome. They buffed its rate of fire up to like 700 RPM. Its recoil is less than most of the assault rifles. And to put that into perspective, the SCAR-L, it has the same accuracy as that recoil. So it has very low recoil. It doesn't have any first shot multiplier, which is so fucking annoying Battlefield. So if you guys can just think of a SCAR-L shooting at 700 RPM, same recoil, and it doesn't have that very initial high jerk, that's what we're seeing as the Type 88. fucking nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be really nice. And another thing that we need to mention is the damage rates are gonna be lower, which is something that me and Isaac really liked because we loved the rate that you could kill people in BC2, and I think it's a step towards the amount of damage that your hits deal is more in the direction of the way BC2
definitely.
used to be than the way BF3 was, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, like if you guys haven't played BC1 or 2, the damage model is super low, especially in Bad Company 1. Bad Company 1 was like 10 to 15 shots to kill people. It was outrageous, but then like they balanced it in which like your weapons had very low spread. They had absolutely no recoil. I mean, we say that in like no, in Call of Duty that they don't have recoil. They do. But in BC1, they legitimately did not have recoil. And then in BC2, they jumped it up a little bit to where it took usually 6 or 7 shots, which was still really nice. Tons of opportunity to react to being hit from the first or second shot, be able to take cover, which is cool. Battlefield 3, they bumped it up to like 4 to 6 shots. That 4 shot was hardly ever there, though. It usually took 5 or 6. So it was still pretty slow. And then in Battlefield 4, at least with Alpha Trials, I guess DICE said that they might have cut back the damage just a little bit. I'm hoping they don't change it too much to where it's like 5 to 6 shots now. They can't do 4 shots anymore. And I like that. I love the slower killing weapons. It takes a lot more skill. It's a hell of a lot more immersive to shoot more guys like that. For some reason, I like that. I think it's a lot more satisfying to shoot someone 5 to 6 times instead of like in Call of Duty where 2 to 3.
Yeah.
And you can't react to that. You absolutely cannot react to being shot 2 or 3 times. So that's one thing I'm really liking about Battlefield 4. I mean, they're foregoing realism a little bit, and they can balance shit a little bit easier.
Oh yeah. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to is the maps that change throughout the battle because damage
dynamic maps.
Yeah, the dynamic maps. The if you guys haven't seen the E3 64 multiplayer gameplay of E3, go and check it out on YouTube. You can find it anywhere. It's probably got 2 billion views by now. I have no idea, but I mean that thing was super popular. But I mean the maps just change. You can take down entire skyscrapers. You can take out bridges. There's a lot that changes throughout the battlefield that I actually like and I love, because what it does is in BF3 there was a certain no point of return where if you were down a certain amount or a certain percentage of kills or amount of lives that respawns that you had left compared to the team that was beating you were done. There was no point in continuing. You might as well back out and find a new match to play. That was one.
Yeah, like the triple cap or whatever. At least on consoles.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the issues that that's one of the issues that I had with it, because it was almost impossible to come back. I'm pretty sure there's probably only 7 or 8 matches that I've personally played where we've literally come back from like 75, 80 or more kills in one. I think with the dynamic maps where they're changing, I think that could be it can flip the odds around, and you can literally battle your way back, even if you're down a significant amount, and it gives you literally a fighting chance to win the match back, instead of being like, oh well, we're down to whatever number it is, and we're screwed. We might as well back out and find another match to play. I think that's really cool.
It's really cool, but we'll have to take that with a grain of salt because of the new commander mode. Because most maps now have like each strategic capture point, at least on Conquest, they have like that little commander bonus where they could launch a tomahawk on you.
Yep.
So if you get like all flags, if one commander has all flags, we might have a big issue with spawn trap. So
that may be an issue. They may have found a way around it. They may have different spawn points placed without. I don't think they're. I think there's a lot of things that they screw up on sometimes, but I don't think that this would be one. I think they probably thought far ahead enough of this to bring back commander mode, because that's another thing I'm excited about. Because I mean, me and Isaac are people that when we go on vacation, we go for like weeks at a time. So my dad has a tablet downstairs, and I don't know if any of your family members do, Isaac, but you can play Yeah, you can play with your buddies through your tablets, and you can play commander mode, and you can like literally like you know talk to your buddies, help them out. They'll talk to you. You get first person views of all your squad leaders, which I think is super super cool. You know you get different things when you take over different sections of the map, like Tomahawk, uh, UAV, counter UAV. Um, you can drop ammo or health or vehicles, which is really cool. I think it's going to be, really awesome. And to add to all of that, it's going to be 64 players on console, which is going to be amazing.
Yeah, the next gen at least.
Yeah.
Who cares about 360 and PS3 anymore?
Considering that we still have them and we don't have our next gens yet, yeah.
Yeah. Anticipating with much happiness, I guess.
Oh yeah, I'm real excited. I'll be honest, I was super weary about BF4 because
I was too.
yeah, because of all the issues that EA and DICE had with Medal of Honor, and it literally scared the crap out of me. And Isaac and everybody else like Ryan that we have on this can tell you that I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get BF4. I don't think I'm gonna play the beta because they screwed up.
Yeah, I was like that
Medal
too.
of Honor.
After BF3, it really pissed me off.
Yeah, it was, and they screwed it up really bad. Now I got to kind of give them, a little bit of credit because they did own up to it. They did say, yeah, we screwed it up, and yeah, we don't plan on making any more for right now. But I mean,
yeah.
From everything that I saw at E3 and that I've been reading up on, Isaac reads up on everything, statistics, rumors, everything. We check up on everything. We're Battlefield buddies because Isaac's the original guy that turned me on to Battlefield and got me super hooked on it, and I just love it. It's awesome, and I'm super stoked. So what do you think is going to be the biggest thing that Battlefield 4 is going to bring to the next gen consoles?
Oh, that's a good one. I think it's going to be like the perfect conglomeration of any type of FPS style you want to play. Like if you want to get close and dirty, you'll be able to do that in Battlefield 4. And if you want to do the vehicles, you can do that too. And I think also each map can cater to specific play styles as well. And I think those maps as well will offer any type of play as well. It's like if you really like a certain class, you can play as that and not have to worry about the assault.
Yeah, because that was a big issue with a lot of maps. Either the maps were so big that if you weren't the assault class or the recon class, you weren't going to play well. But if there were also maps that were so closed in and together that if you weren't, a class with, a submachine gun type of weapon or an assault rifle, you were going to get screwed.
I think any class you play as, you can be comfortable.
Yeah.
It looks like from the stats, like the weapons are going to be fun to use. It looks like from the map design standpoint, that's also going to be the case. You can enjoy playing as infantry as much as you can enjoy playing as in vehicles, which is really cool. Battlefield 3 sometimes offered that pretty well, and sometimes they didn't. And sometimes it was just a complete 100% infantry or 100% vehicles. And I think we're going to see something considerably different.
Yeah.
But then again, that's just from one map we've seen.
Yeah.
So we take that with a grain of salt and speculative.
Oh, yeah.
But regardless, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that we're going to see from BF4 on next gen is we're going to see something. I'm not going to call it revolutionary, but I'm going to call it something that we haven't seen before, because I would call BF3 the almost kind of stage, because
it's like
they
comparing
almost
BC1 to BC2.
Yeah,
you see that really awesome refinement of something that already worked pretty well, but now that refinement makes it very good.
Oh yeah, because they almost got the classes right. They almost got the weapons right. They almost got the maps and the DLC right.
Yeah, I'd have to say.
And I'd have to say they got pretty darn close to getting the whole teamwork aspect of it. almost perfect.
Yeah.
And I think
The
with
competitive players, man,
and I
they're
think
really
with
fun to watch.
and I think with adding an extra teammate to your squad, so you've got 5 people in your squad now,
Yeah, 5-man
and
squad.
adding commander mode and all of that into one spot, to where, because in commander mode, not only do you land stuff out for your buddies and stuff, and you drop missiles and vehicles and stuff. It's not just that, but you literally see what's going on, so you tell each of your commanders to go to separate locations and take over these certain spots, and whenever they go to that location and take it over, they defend something, they get extra points for it, which I think is awesome. So I think the whole team aspect and the whole overall aspect of Battlefield is going to be amped up even further than what it was in BF3, and I think it's literally going to perfect what BF3 tried to do. They almost got there. They just didn't get quite enough of it there to actually get all of it.
Yeah, I'd say undoubtedly. Like you said, it's got that fun teamwork aspect to it that's going to appeal to the really diehards. And to, I hate to say the filthy casuals, I guess, there's also that cosmetic appeal.
Yeah.
I mean, not all the casuals are all into that, hardcore gamers are probably into that too a little bit. I mean, I'm kind of hit and miss with aesthetics, but I think that's really cool. Like, they're going to offer a lot more customization, aesthetic appeal.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that the customization of the weapons isn't up to par with what it was with Medal of Honor, because in Medal of Honor
has some cool customization.
Medal of Honor was awesome. That was the best feature of the whole game, because the rest of the game was broken. But that was
basically
that was the best part of that entire game, and it was so that was the coolest part for me, was unlocking stuff and then seeing what it looked like when I put it into my rig, and then 2, going out and playing with it and seeing how it performed, and being like, cool. I like it, I don't, and that was really cool. But I think the customization that they're going to be doing is going to be really awesome. They're adding a bunch of new stuff as far as the customization. I'm sure you can go on to, if you go to Level Cap Gaming's YouTube page, he's got videos on all the accessories and some of the guns that they offer, because he was at E3 playing the alpha at E3, and he loved everything about the customization. From what I saw in there, it looks awesome. But I mean, I'm really super excited. But anything you got to add, Isaac?
What?
Anything you got to add?
Not a whole lot. I pretty much got what I mostly wanted to cover.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks guys for listening. It's going to be super exciting to see what Battlefield 4 brings to offer, and its next gen is going to be awesome. Implementing a lot of the PC stuff, into consoles, and then bringing along the whole new Frostbite 3 engine is going to be astounding. I'm super excited. There's a lot of other people out there that's super excited, but it's just going to be a lot of fun. So for me and Isaac, we'll talk to you guys later. If you want to like, or you want to subscribe or whatever, that's fine. If you want to find us on our iTunes, we have a podcast too. Smelly Russian Gaming is our podcast name, and we've got a website linked to it, so you can go on there and read a little bit if you want to, if you don't want to listen to the podcast or whatever. But that's it. So you guys just talk to you later, and we're out.
Digs on me. Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke niggas.